And what do you do with the Buccaneers? And what do you do with the Buccaneers on Super Bowl morning? Way up they rise and way up they rise and way up they rise on Super Bowl morning. They beat the Chiefs and sent them home, and they beat the Chiefs and sent them home, and they beat the Chiefs and sent them home on Super Bowl morning. Way up they rise and way up they rise and way up they rise on Super Bowl morning. They went to party and drank a lot, and they went to party and drank a lot, and they went to party and drank a lot on Super Bowl morning. Way up they rise and way up they rise and way up they rise on Super Bowl morning. What do you do with the Buccaneers? And what do you do with the Buccaneers? And what do you do with the Buccaneers on Super Bowl morning? Way up they rise and way up they rise and way up they rise on Super Bowl morning. Live from P&D Studios, it's This Week Live with Rocky Red Panda. This week's The Good, The Bad, and The Special guest Varik. And Lunar New Year's celebration. And here's your host, Rocky Red Panda. Hey folks, welcome to This Week Live. It is the week of February the 14th. Think the date? Blow me, 2021. I am your host, Rocky Red Panda. Now, before we talk about hoist the colors. Yes, we're going to talk about hoist the colors. I got to tell you, I'm not drinking coffee this week. This is not alcohol. I swear to you, it's not alcohol. This is actually, what is this? This is, I'm asking myself like I should know, and I do know. This is Mio orange flavored in water. Tangerine flavor is actually pretty good. So no coffee this week. I know, a little disappointment, but things happen. But we're going to talk about hoist the colors here, because we're going to start this episode with congratulations to the Buccaneers for winning the Super Bowl. The game may have been one-sided, but they gave it their all. And by their all, I mean, hey, look, is that a yellow flag you're dropping? Or are you just happy to score a point? I wouldn't know, because of all those cardboard cutouts in the stands mixed in with first responders, nurses, and doctors. And also a big thank you to the first responders, nurses, and doctors for helping out, especially during this COVID-19. Without you, we would not be where we are today, especially for the vaccines. Now, the exciting thing about the vaccine is I get my first dose on tomorrow. I had to stop and think. Tomorrow, Monday. So I'm excited about that. It's a long time coming, but, I get my first dose. So stay tuned for that. I'll be posting a photo or something after I get my dose. But I also want to wish everyone out there a happy Lunar New Year's. It is the year of the ox. Happy Valentine's Day and happy President's Day. Yes, the only time where all three holidays are compacted into one big full weekend of excitement, like you need a reason to celebrate and have chocolate and get that divorce you've waited all year to file. But we'll talk more about this and the Super Bowl, plus other news in this week's The Good, The Bad, and the That's where we poke fun at some of this week's news, and yes, all politics are on the table. So before we start, we'll be heading out to our correspondent, Rocky, who is standing outside in a newly fresh snowfall to initiate the coin toss. What? Oh, snow toss. Sorry about that. Rocky, you ready? And thanks, Rocky. Yes, we're out here in the beautiful snowfall of 2021. Last weekend was a lot bigger than this snow we're having now, but we got another few inches, and there's more on the way. So, coin toss. Actually, I don't have any coins. So it's the snow toss. to start out the good, the bad, and to grab some snow. Just kind of mold it into the shape of a snowball, because that's what we do. There we go. So we're gonna go ahead and chuck it. All right, the good, the bad, and the Woo! Of course, it's here without. You know what? Screw it. Back to you, Rocky. Oh, we're back. Oh, yes. Thanks, Rocky. Go inside and get warm, buddy. Have some hot chocolate. I forgot you're lactose intolerant. You can't have hot chocolate. But go inside and get yourself warm. So let's talk about the Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9 in a lopsided game this past Sunday. However, there was this guy who made the game so much more interesting. Check it out.
Arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle, the 10, the 5. He slides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal line. Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Look at that one piece. Actually, it's a bikini is what he called it. And in hot pink to boot. Woo! My goodness. Even though the Chiefs couldn't score, he made sure to score one for the team because he was a Chiefs fan. And in his hot one piece to boot. Oh my God, it reminds you of Borat. Oh, jeez. But now that the Bucs have won the Super Bowl, what are they going to do?
You wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you.
Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, you and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
They're going to Disney World. I hear Disney World. No. They're going to have a parade. Because every Super Bowl and every sports event needs a parade for the winning team, right? Yeah, they had a boat parade. Yes, the next amazing COVID Race 2021 edition. And of course, I am celebrating. I got my red cup. Woo! Go Bucs! That's where there is no alcohol in this. But there was no social distancing, or very little, and barely anyone wore a mask. Way to go, Tampa. Way to go, Tampa. And they passed that trophy around by Tom Brady tossing it from boat to boat. I mean, it's unique. It's different. I've never seen a boat parade before to celebrate a winning team. I mean, that's pretty good. So, congratulations to the Bucs for an amazing Super Bowl that we will not forget. But let's move back up the East Coast to the impeachment house. Trump's second impeachment is on his way. The Democrats, as of yesterday, just finished their opening statements. Here are a few highlights.
Give our lawmakers the gift of discernment so that they will know truth from falsehood.
Democracy needs a ground to stand upon, and that ground is the truth. To us, it may have felt like chaos and madness, but there was method in the madness.
We will never give in, we will never give up, we will never back down, we will never, ever surrender.
He knew when he took that podium on that fateful morning that those in attendance had heeded his words and they were waiting for his orders to begin fighting.
Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump!
Note, as the video begins, we are seeing the inside view as the mob approaches from outside and beats the windows and doors. I want you to pay attention to the first group of assailants as they break into the building. The second man through the window is wearing full tactical body armor and is carrying a baseball bat. Others are carrying riot shields. Although they were shouting that they did not have any weapons, we know from the earlier video that that's not true. The second assailant through that breach was the one carrying a metal baseball bat. We know there were other weapons there that day. Did you hear the other shouts? We're here for you. He's one person, we're thousands. And where do they count the votes?
Inside the House chamber, a security officer suspended the floor debate to update members.
Please be advised there are masks under your seats.
We were told there were tear gas masks underneath our seats and be prepared to grab them. Determined to keep the count going, Chairman McGovern called the House back into session. But only 4 minutes later, at 2:30 p.m., the House abruptly recessed. Although members were now being moved to another location, the mob continued to fight, to stop the count, to find the members, to engage with the police. The building was not yet secure.
In this security footage, you can see Officer Goodman running to respond to the initial breach. Officer Goodman passes Senator Mitt Romney and directs him to turn around in order to get to safety. Vice President Pence was still in the room near the Senate chamber. It was not until 2:26 that he was evacuated to a secure location. You can see Vice President Pence and his family quickly move down the stairs. The Vice President turns around briefly as he's headed down. As Pence was being evacuated, rioters started to spread throughout the Capitol.
As horrific as it was, 140 officers injured, 3 officers who ultimately lost their lives. We all know that awful day could have been so much worse. The only reason it was not was because of the extraordinary bravery of the men and women of the Capitol Police and the Metropolitan Police Departments.
Trump's supporters had erected a gallows on the lawn in front of the Capitol building, and they said that anyone they got their hands on, they would have killed, including Nancy Pelosi, and that, quote, they would have killed Vice President Mike Pence if given the chance. They were talking about assassinating the Vice President of the United States. So pillage and vandalize the Speaker's office and documented their crimes on social media. They stole objects, desecrated the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the United States.
Additional security footage shows how Leader Schumer and the members of his protective detail had a near miss with the mob. They came within just yards of rioters and had to turn around.
See, the crowd is using munitions against us. They have bear spray in the crowd. Bear spray in the crowd.
This video shows how the sprays that were described were used against the officers. You can hear an officer when he realizes that the insurrectionists had overtaken the police line.
We lost the line. We lost the line. LAPD, pull back.
In this new security video, you can see the mob attacking officers with a crutch, a hockey stick, a bullhorn, and a Trump flag. I want to show you that same attack from the officer's perspective from his body camera footage. He was one of 3 officers that the mob dragged down the stairs. When they dragged him, they stole his badge, his radio, his ammunition magazine, and they tased him, triggering a heart attack. Here he describes his experience.
Looked like a medieval battle scene. You know, it's some of the most brutal combat I've ever encountered.
So, the key takeaways from the Democrats' damage control over the past 3 days is the risk if Trump is not held accountable and Republicans grappled for a response. So, they talked about the riot in great detail, which included emotional video accounts that had never been seen before. During all of this, however, people like I had my way to visit the Murray show, Rhonda McDaniel, tweeted, Biden should heed Lincoln's words by urging Democrats in the Senate to abandon their political game of impeachment. Yes, 7 years ago, I chopped down that cherry tree. Actually, no, that was George Washington, and even that wasn't true. Folks, it gets worse from here. Senator Lady Graham of South Carolina had this to say. Here's what I want to know. What did Nancy Pelosi know, and when did she know it? Come on, Lindsay. You should know better. I mean, after all, you did ask for donations of money on live television, I believe it was Fox News, to help your re-election campaign. And what were you doing while the riots were happening? You were down in a bunker with the other fellow Senate members instead of being with your people. Yes, the people who supported a president you blindly followed for 4 years. That's right, folks. But though the Democrats' impeachment opening statement is over, it left most senators sitting in silence as they watched those videos. This will be a stain on America. Unfortunately, that's never going to go away. Now we wait to hear what the defense has to say, or the Republicans. That should be interesting. I'm actually going to look forward to what they're going to say, because of course they blasted and played it in every news station as it happened, so there's no way of actually ignoring it. ABC, NBC, CBS, you name it, they're playing it. But let's move away from politics or the political spires of DC, and let's move back to Asia. Note the tone of my voice. And we're going to talk about Myanmar before we end out on the Asian community, my community. So the U.S. slaps new sanctions on Myanmar generals for role in coup. So the move will prevent Min Aung Hlaing and other generals from accessing more than $1 billion in government funds held in the U.S. This comes weeks after a week ago that the military of Myanmar overthrew the legitimate elected Democratic Party winner in its elections. The latest from Myanmar is their social media and internet access is still down. And of course, this is what's happening now. The police are using water cannons on their protesters. Water cannons. And all of this is going on while the military has said publicly that Kai has been released and everything is okay. Now, remember folks, don't believe everything the military is telling you, because as of today, she is still under house arrest. There is no signs that the protests are going to be standing down anytime soon. Now, I usually don't do this on my show, but just watch this report directly from ABC News.
President Biden has also ordered new sanctions and is promising to do more as the fight for democracy in Myanmar is now heating up. Protesters remain defiant against the military that seized power at the beginning of the month. The seizure of power reversed the democratic gains that nation had made. So what happens next? Ian Pannell reports.
On the streets of Myanmar, citizens chanting and marches. People trying to make their voices heard against a violent and oppressive military junta that's once again taken control of the country. Over the past few days, protests in the country have swelled. 27-year-old Shan Mayong joined tens of thousands of others, peacefully taking to the streets to declare, "We will fight for our democracy."
I can risk my life to get the democracy back.
Myanmar spent decades under repressive military rule. In 2015, Aung San Suu Kyi became the first democratically elected leader after years under house arrest. She was re-elected late last year, her party taking the majority of seats. But the all-powerful military disputed the results. And a little over a week ago, they detained Aung San Suu Kyi, and she hasn't been heard from or seen since. In an attempt to quash the opposition, the country's military shutting down the internet in some parts of the country and imposing a nationwide curfew. So far, it hasn't deterred protesters. From women in elegant ball gowns to Buddhist monks in flowing robes, and ethnic minority groups coming out to protest in support in a striking show of unity. Demonstrators holding up the three-finger salute from the Hunger Games film that was adopted by Thai protesters last year, a show of resistance against the junta. Some placing red roses on the body armour of police as they held the line. But in a warning of what may be to come, police at times responding with force. One terrible incident has rallied the crowds. This woman in critical condition after being shot in the back of her head. Shan led a group of his students to the US Embassy building in Yangon today.
Everyone deserves to live free in every country.
These protests are different from those of the past, he says. The people have now had a taste of democracy for 5 years, and they're not ready to let it go and go back to the days where dissent could mean death.
I only live in my life. Today is the last day. It's time to change for our country. So I fight for generation, for my generation, for my people.
Just yesterday, President Biden approved an executive order allowing the US to sanction individuals and entities connected to the coup. But for now, the military is standing ground. They're even drafting a draconian internet security bill that would require providers to give up users' information. Those deemed a threat can face up to 3 years in jail. And even though the protests haven't turned bloody yet, fear of violence hangs over Myanmar. For days, police have stood threateningly behind barricades in Yangon, Myanmar's largest city, but the protests seem only to grow in what's become a dangerous zero-sum game.
I want the world to have us. We don't want to back to the darkness again.
Ian Pannell for ABC News Live.
So how can you help? You, the average everyday people that want to help and support and show their support for Myanmar. Well, speak out like I am, especially on this show, and wear red in support for the Myanmar people as they fight for democracy in their country. I stand, let me get the right 3 fingers, I stand with Myanmar and their people in support and their support for democracy as I denounce the military powers to want to overthrow the government yet again. Now, of course, I am wearing my red. Actually, it's maroon, but it's still red in my support. Now, will you? I'm going to drink after that. But moving back home to a sensitive topic we discussed before on this show, and of course I told you, we're not going to stop talking about it, and it's back. The topic is racism. So, let's talk about it. I'm silent for a reason. Because I really don't want to talk about it. Because it is something we shouldn't have to. But we are. I mean, it now hits home for me. Just, please watch this. This is from NBC News from the other night. This will explain everything.
Brazen attacks against Asian Americans. In San Francisco, this 84-year-old Thai man died after being shoved. Now, a chorus of voices calling for allies and action.
We are a community that's under attack.
Broadway's Lea Salonga urging a united front against hate.
There's been the Black Lives Matter movement, and now it's an Asian Lives Matter movement. These kinds of attacks are wrong, and that people are getting fed up.
NBC News first reported on the spike in Asian attacks last spring after Stop AAPI Hate created a national reporting system. So far, they've recorded 2,800 incidents.
People get pushed and shoved. They have profanities slung at them.
What should someone do if they are the victim of an incident like this or they witness it?
Again, you have to get to a safe space. But secondly, we really encourage people to report.
Lack of reporting, language barriers, and the rise in violence prompted NYPD to create a permanent task force. They say Asian hate crimes skyrocketed from an average of 3 per year to 27 last year.
We'll make arrests. We'll do outreach. We'll let the community know that we're here and we're helping and we care.
At a town hall last summer, then candidate Joe Biden said he would fight racism. Last month, he announced action.
I'm directing federal agencies to combat resurgence of xenophobia. This is unacceptable, and it's un-American.
With the Lunar New Year this Friday, many in the Asian community are hoping for new action against these ongoing attacks.
It's my own community. Racism. Racism against Asian Americans. This is not okay. An elderly man has died. His name was Visha Rampensky, however you pronounce his last name. He was 84, of San Francisco, who was barreled into, and he fell to the ground, dying instantly. And he was killed by a 19-year-old who is now being held without bail for his death. And if you look on YouTube, you can find his funeral service. His beautiful Buddhist funeral service. But, I mean, we have now, as Americans, come to this. All because of COVID-19 and some deeming it the Hong Kong flu virus or the Hong Kong virus. I am a son of a father who grew up in Taiwan, formerly called Formosa during Japanese occupation of World War II, and a mother who grew up in the South during the race riots of the 50s and 60s. I hear from my dad stories of what he has gone through during Japanese occupation. He remembered telling me stories of going to high school across the river in Shinsu and being able to look up at the sky and seeing dog fights. I mean, I don't need a time machine to see what kinds of choices I'd make in the face of xenophobia or rampant racism or being in my dad's position, because it's happening right now in modern times. I thought it was just Black Lives Matter, but it's now happening to my community. I've seen it. I've been a part of it in high school, in college, and as an adult. I've been called chink on the school bus headed to school. I've been told your kind ain't welcome here in college. This is getting really hard for me to talk about. most recently, when I was shopping at a grocery store, a man and his wife walked by me with their shopping cart, and I could hear the man tell his wife, "Stay away from him. He's Asian and has the Kung Flu virus. We don't want to get infected." I'm just going to let that sink in. Sorry if I'm getting emotional talking about this. As I was checking out, because I had to go in just to get cream, or half and half, 2 lanes. There were 2 lanes that were open. My lane and the one next to me. I was finishing up when the couple walked by me again to check out. They could have taken my lane, but they saw me and they backed away like 6 feet and hopped into the lane next door. As soon as they did, the girl put a little sign that she was going on a short bathroom break. The lady pulled out disinfectant spray or hand sanitizer spray from her purse or bag, and she started spraying her arms and her hands like she touched something that she shouldn't have. I left after checking out, and I looked back, and the lady said, "My lane's open. I can check you out over here." The man responded, and I repeat, responded with, "No thanks. I'll wait for this checkout lady to return." I'm just going to let that sink in. So in other words, he did not want to use the lane that I used. Doesn't that sound like something out of the 50s and 60s? There's a new hashtag trending at the moment. Hashtag Asian Lives Matter. Asian Lives Matter. Or Asian Lives Matter. Just because you aren't Asian, or just because we are Asian, doesn't mean we have COVID-19. This just makes me sad. It makes me real sad. And I'm sorry that we as Americans have come to this. I figured the good way to end this segment, the good, the bad, and the is to play a little song by Anti-Flag, which is entitled Racist. I didn't know it existed till today, so if I butcher it, mind. But we're going to attempt it. It goes something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's in the things that you say and you don't say. You don't know cause you're such a fucking cliche. The way to find them and us, for those you fear and those you trust. You know a black guy and he's very articulate. You know a Mexican and she's honest and vigilant. You don't see color but you some need discipline. As long as this stuff, people need to learn a lesson. Your justification, one dead giveaway. Your qualifications, one dead giveaway. Never endorse those Jim Crow days, but the balance in your voice is a goddamn giveaway. Just cause you don't know you're racist, begin with a checklist. Just cause you don't know you're racist, don't get a pass when you're talking your shit. Just cause you don't know you're racist, begin with a checklist. Just cause you don't know you're racist, don't get a pass for your ignorance. Black Lives Matter, and you don't know why. And reverse racism isn't a real thing. No, you weren't alive in the time of slavery, but that's no excuse to ignore its legacy. Not afraid of refugees, but you don't want the mosque built on your street. Offended by the claim of bigotry, more than racism in your face. Your justifications, one dead giveaway. Your qualifications, one dead giveaway. You'll never never endorse those Bull Connor days. The malice in your voice is the goddamn giveaway. Just cause you don't know you're racist, a bigot with a checklist. Just cause you don't know you're racist, cause you don't know you're thinking your shit. Just cause you don't know you're racist, a bigot with a checklist. Just cause you know you're racist, you don't get a pass for your ignorance. You fly the flag of the Confederacy to say to celebrate your history. The South was fighting to save slavery, to preserve and protect white supremacy. You fly the flag of the Confederacy to say you celebrate your history. The South was fighting to save slavery, to preserve and protect white supremacy. Just preserve and protect white supremacy. Just cause you don't know you're racist, a bigot with a checklist. Just cause you don't know you're racist, don't get a pass when you're talking your shit. Just cause you don't know you're racist, a bigot with a checklist. Just cause you don't know you're racist, don't get a pass when you're talking with your ignorance. Don't know you're racist. Just cause you don't know you're sexist. Just cause you don't know you're fascist. That's for your ignorance. Just cause you don't know you're racist. Just cause you don't know you're sexist. Just cause you don't know you're fascist, you don't get a pass for your ignorance. I may have butchered that ending, but that's one of my new favorite songs now, and that is called Racist by Anti-Flag, you guys. So, this has been this week's The Good, The Bad, and we'll be right back after this commercial break with our special guest. So stay tuned, folks. There, folks, this is Rocky Red Panda, your host of This Week Live, P&D Studios, and illustrator at Panda Numeric Designs. Are you looking to get official This Week Live, P&D Studio, and Panda Numeric Design merchandise? That's right. Go to my website at pandaanddesigns.com, click on the shop, which will take you to some sweet, sweet stuff via my online Etsy store. All right, you guys, welcome back. So we're here with Varric, and he is our special guest this week. Lovely little furry out there, and I think a little pink bunny suit. That's awesome. So welcome to the show. So, so go ahead and how did you find out about the furry fandom, or what got you into it? Because that seems a question.
Well, I learned about it years prior from an ex-boyfriend of mine, or not really boyfriend, we were just an online thing.
Okay.
And it kind of like subsided for years. I didn't really think about being a furry. And then I was actually married to my ex-wife for a number of years. And after we broke up, I just had this sudden urge to want to be a furry. And that's how I ended up here. As weird as that is.
Yeah, that is unique. I've never actually. Well, that's cool. I like that.
It just felt like a very accepting and helpful community when I was in a time of crisis. So it really did help me out a lot.
There you go, folks. We, the furry community, are helping others. I can tell you that, because if you leave something on the table and you walk away at a con, they'll turn it in and you'll get your thing back, compared to, say, an anime convention. If you leave something sitting around, most likely if you go back, it's not going to be there anymore. Most likely someone's walked off with it. So yeah, we are kind of nice people. So how long have you been in the fandom?
2 years.
3 years. Beautiful.
2 years.
2. Oh, okay, awesome, beautiful. So, let's move on to tell us about who Varric is and how did you come up with this unique character?
Well, he's a femboy pink giant Flemish bunny, which is the largest breed of bunny. They actually get the size of medium dogs. And yeah, so basically it's I drew it out. I kind of drew the rough draft for it, and it took some time, but I ended up creating basically my inner personality in the form of my Sona. I mean, I'm not this adorable outside of my suit, but I'm definitely fun. But it's more like my inner love of everything pink and feminine that I put into my Sona.
Oh, very nice. Because the only large bunny I've heard about before you mentioned that was what you call it's a puka rabbit. If you remember, I guess the 1940s black and white film with the giant puka, but you only saw what was it? You only saw the shadow of it, and it's just a giant shapeshifter rabbit. So, but that's cool. I completely like that. So I'm guessing pink's your favorite color.
Absolutely.
Or variant shades of pink. So I see
Yes.
you got the light pink there, and you got some dark pink accents there.
Oh,
So
there's also pink on my hips.
Oh, you got a little
tail on because I don't want to crush it in my chair.
I'm thinking of the My Little Pony. That's like a little cutie mark you got going on.
Kind of. I am an MLP fan, but it's not a cutie mark. It's just I just felt like putting it there. But you're not the first person to say it does look like a cutie mark.
Yeah. I'm a My Little Pony fan too, aren't we all? Can't furries and bronies be together and be one happy union?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. So, you said this suit was made by someone in Indiana.
Yeah, Lizard loves mustache costumes. She is absolutely amazing.
Okay.
She is very responsive, very skilled maker, and she actually did mine as a rush order. So I actually got mine very quickly, but she did such a fantastic job.
Awesome. Well, I wrote that down. I'll check it out. So, just kind of curious, how much do suits cost these days?
Well, with the rush cost that I spent, it was $4,200, but that was a 50% plus markup from the $2,600, I believe I was quoted for the actual suit. But that's because I got it in a 2-month rush.
Whew. Wow. Yeah, I mean, they're right. It's like it's like hit the price of a new car. Yeah, they're not kidding you on there. I mean, mine, I'm just getting my head redone, and he looked at me and he says, I'm not going to charge you anything. I said, no. It's like, I'm paying you. I know you're late on making it, but no, I'm giving you something. So, well, that's wow. I guess those are good suits. So, for those who never worn a suit, kind of explain to them what it's like wearing a fursuit.
Presently hotter than sin.
Sin, you don't have like a fan inside your
I
head?
don't have a fan. My maker doesn't do electronics in the heads.
Okay.
He did, but I actually like this suit the way it is, so I have to adjust. I like the head the way it is, but it is very warm in here. It does get very hot.
So you don't. So when you wear it to say, I guess if you've been to cons, you don't wear like a balaclava over top before you put it on.
I have thought of doing the balaclava, but I just haven't gotten around to getting one.
Awesome. Yeah, I have two, and they are amazing. The first year when I first joined the fandom, I didn't know what balaclava was, so I was like, you know what, why are you wearing these? So I just took a pair of old underwear. No one should ever know, and I just put up my head, wrapped it around tight, and back into the balaclava. So it worked. Yeah. So what do you do in the furry fan? The makeshift, so you don't sweat. So have you ever been to any furry cons or?
I was supposed to go in 2020, but unfortunately the
pandemic.
The plague happened. It kind of ruined my plans for my first 3 cons, which were going to be Midwest Fur Fest, Furry Weekend Atlanta, and Megaplex.
Very nice. Very nice. I've never been to Furry Weekend Atlanta. I have people that go to that. Midwest Fur Fest, never been to that. Megaplex, I have a friend that goes there. I used to go to Anthrocon, but now I downsized. Since I'm an illustrator at Stella Conventions, I now just go to Danbury, Connecticut, Camp Tiny Paul's, and I go to one in Pittsburgh, not Anthrocon, Western PA for a weekend. Kind of a little small get together, and I just love it. So, but that's cool. You've been to cons, so so if you could give.
Well, no, I
advice...
haven't been. I was supposed to go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Plague happened and canceled my plan.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe this year.
As crossed as I can get my 4-finger paws.
Nice. So, if you could give some advice to those wanting to join the fandom, get a fursuit, or become a furry, what would you give them?
You can adopt if you choose to, but I prefer to have a personal persona that represents who you are as a person. So really think about what you want to do as far as like what you want to represent yourself as in the fandom and what you want to show off as your personality, because your persona is part of you and it really should represent who you are as a person and who you are inside.
Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better myself. So is there a furry that you'd love to meet in person?
Beauty of the Base, only because I've seen her suit and it's one of the most incredible suits I've ever seen.
Oh, that is so nice. I would love to meet Telephone, but when I finally
She's adorable. Oh my God, her Dutchy sounds are the best.
Yeah, they are, but she actually retired a suit, so I don't know what she's doing now.
Really?
Yeah, she retired a suit. It was not last year, but it was the year before. I actually was selling at Camp Tiny Paul's. The special guest of honor was Uncle Kage. So I actually got to sit at a wine bar. It was the hotel bar, and I got to sit there, and I had wine, and I sat next to Uncle Kage on my lunch break. And he said, "Telegram, she retired her suit." I was like, "No, I didn't get to meet her, and she retired her suit. No." But yeah, so I met my first suit crush. I met Uncle Kage, but
that's amazing.
It was.
Yeah, my boyfriend also says he's met Uncle Kage before.
Nice. I actually gifted him a bottle of wine, and he looked at me. He's like, "I got a gift for you." He's like, what is it? I was like, "Well, this is local wine from where I'm at." And the game is like, "Well, how did you know I liked wine?"
It's Uncle Kage. Everyone knows he likes wine.
Just like his post on Telegram that same year. No, it was on Twitter that same year. It said, "Help, I've been kidnapped by a bunch of Japanese furries at a Japanese fur con, and they're forcing me to drink sake. Actually, no, don't send help. I'm perfectly fine."
Exactly.
All right. Then, lastly, because I do see your name tag as gaming, so I'm guessing you're a huge gamer.
Yeah.
What's your main?
I was streaming for a while. My main game's Call of Duty right now, but actually I've been playing Animal Crossing more than anything. I kind of stopped playing Call of Duty last week.
Isn't Animal Crossing addicting?
It really is.
Oh my goodness. I've been playing it nonstop. I actually had to stop playing yesterday. I'm like, after so many hours of trying to make my island look like a city, I'm like, I'm done. I need to get work done.
Yeah,
No. I'll spend a few more hours building it.
I've got 4 houses on my island so far, and you're trying to build a city. Wow.
Yeah. I'm following all the YouTube. It was like, wow, how long did you spend this? It's like, I started last year. This is remodel number 3, so I had to count all the hours. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, Animal Crossing's awesome. It's addicting, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I can also see you're a Dragon Ball fan or Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball, Pokemon. There's actually a giant Marilyn Monroe up here. It's 8 foot tall.
Oh, you got your Maryland.
I'd show you the other side of my art, but it's NSFW, so I can't.
Well, that's perfectly fine. So I'm actually going to unplug this because I can, but we're still recording. So yeah, that's my Maryland. That's my
very nice.
That's my Andy Warhol Maryland, and that's a museum.
Oh, this was custom painted at Art Basel for me.
Art Basel.
This was done live. A spray artist did that at Art Basel when I bought it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. On film. It's not expensive. People hear Art Basel and immediately think, "Oh, it was like $12." No, it was like $600. It wasn't that bad.
No, yeah, but that's awesome.
I watched it get sprayed in front of me.
But that's cool. So Marilyn Monroe, furry, Dragon Ball. I'm gonna. Who was your favorite character?
Oh, from Dragon Ball, it has to be. I'm kind of basic with this, but I like Goku.
Goku.
I don't know why. It's just I relate with him. My boyfriend in the other room, basic.
I know. So I mean, can we all agree how many times you think Frieza's going to come back, and Goku's going to try to
He's
take the
never
world
gonna
again?
go away. Frieza is a bit like an STD. He just keeps coming back.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're right. That just made my day. For a minute there, I thought you were going to say Master Roshi. I'm like, oh, you're into that perverted guy. And I was like, nosebleed.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah. All right. Well, it's been great having you on this show. We'll try to get you on again sometime soon. Yeah, definitely. But again, folks, this is Varric. Thank you, Varric. I had Varric written down, but Varric. Yeah, my mind's like I closed my notebook. So Varric. Yes. So the cute, lovely pink buddy, Varric.
Thank you so much, guys. Great being on.
So, yep, we'll be back, folks, after this commercial break. You're watching This Week Live with Rocky Red Panda, only on PNG Studios. Make sure to like and subscribe. All right, you guys, and welcome back. So I had to scour the World Wide Web of the internet to search for these stories, so you don't have to, because I talk about politics and all that stuff in that other segment. So this is called In Other News. In Other News. So let's go ahead, and it's been a while since we've done this, so I have a little list here. But let's go ahead and talk about it. So, in other news, Tessica, that's a very interesting name, Tessica Brown. Yeah, I forgot to talk about her. So, a 40-year-old Tessica Brown ran out of got-to-be hairspray and resorted to using Gorilla Glue to spray her hair. That's enough to make my head hurt. It really does. It'll make your head hurt. But, Tessica Brown ran out of her hairspray, and she resorted to using Gorilla Glue. Ugh. Why am I messing up so much? Because I don't like this story, that's why. She had to resort to using Gorilla Glue to hold her hair together, only to find out the complications of using Gorilla Glue, and stating that it doesn't say on the package you cannot use for hair or use on hair. I mean, this is not rocket science. You should know never to put glue in your hair, period. I mean, this is just like the story from the 90s of the old lady who spilled hot coffee on herself from McDonald's, not realizing that hot coffee is going to burn. And she filed a complaint against McDonald's, and just like her, she filed a lawsuit against the company, which forced McDonald's to put a little warning label on her coffee, and it's probably going to force the Gorilla Glue company to put a little warning label on their Gorilla Glue. Please don't use this in their hair. I mean, it's just common sense, folks. It's common sense. I mean, she got herself in a sticky situation because she did get surgery to get everything removed thanks to a wonderful doctor in Texas. However, this should have been all avoided. Folks out there, don't use Gorilla Glue in your hair, please. So, in other news, we celebrate the birthday of Beulah Louise Henry this week. Now, who is Beulah Louise Henry? Well, she was called the female Thomas Edison. She invented over 110 different inventions. One of those, including the can opener, which most of us just found out how to use properly by watching many videos like, oh, we've been doing it wrong this whole entire time. Have we now realized how we can open a can? I mean, it's not rocket science. That should be the new term for this segment. It's not rocket science. Now, in other news, bodybuilder with adult doll bride, I'm not going to use the S word, wants to start seeing other robots and a big chicken. Oh, these stories just keep getting worse and worse, folks. So, let's talk about this bodybuilder. He is from Kazakhstan, just like Borat, but he's from Kazakhstan, and he married an adult sex bride. Adult sex doll, I should say. I used a word. And her name is Margot, the plastic woman. Yes, so he states, I don't want Margot to break down again. But I do have the full story on my phone. Because I had to save this. I really wanted to talk about this. So, let me find it. He says, I don't want Margot to break down again. And that means I have to unload her. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear what unload her means. I decided that I could have several wives. This tradition exists in some Eastern countries. Okay, you're dating a sex doll. That's not real. I mean, seriously, I'm currently considering two options. I got acquainted online with another sex doll. I even decided to fly to her, meet her. She lives in Moscow, but they didn't let me out of the airport because of quarantine. He is keen to sexually experimenting with a big chicken. Not a live one, but a big chicken. He continued, it will be such a great toy. He will have a... I can't wait for her. I'm done. I'm done with this story. I am seriously done. Folks, a grown man marries a adult doll. What's wrong with that picture? I mean, seriously. That's not right. I mean, if you want to marry Barbie, go for it, but it's going to be... It's not... No. It's like, would you like to meet my wife? Her name's Margot, and she is a giant sex doll. There's not much I can do to this. I'm sorry. I'm done with this topic. These just keep getting worse. But let's move on to another one. Seriously. Alright. Here we go. Woman makes feta pasta with strawberries. Yeah, watch this video. So there are only 3 ingredients to making really good feta pasta. That's pasta, cheese, and tomatoes. Well, this woman substituted the tomatoes with strawberries. and she baked it, she made this, and it came out looking like that, and that is like, there's just something not right with that. And of course, Gordon Ramsay out there is saying, "Are you bonkers?" He'd probably be cursing a storm too. Strawberries and pasta do not go well together. She says that her friends and family loved it. I'm not convinced. That thing looks hideous. It looks atrocious. And, oh my God. Ugh. Man, folks, and this is why I don't have TikTok, because there are people out there that are going to do weird things like this video, including that girl that I talked about a while back who put steak in a toaster and cooked steak with a toaster. That's just creepy, folks. That's just creepy. But that's a good way to end. And other news. So, we're going to move on to Chinese New Year. So, this past Friday was Chinese New Year. Now, here in America, we only celebrate it one day, but back home in Taiwan, where most of my family's from, they celebrate it in a week-long celebration. So, I had a chance to go out and celebrate with my family, especially during COVID-19 times, kind of hard, but we did the best. So, here's a little short video of my exciting adventure out having fun on Chinese New Year. Check it out. Wasn't that food delicious? Yes, it looked delicious and a lot of shopping. It was cool. It was cool. I enjoy Korean barbecue. It was not my choice. That was my dad's decision. There are 3 places I usually go to. Korean barbecue, Hot Pot Hero, which is basically Chinese hot pot, and there's a Hong Kong restaurant I absolutely love that has really good beef and turnip soup and rice congee. Congee. I mean, if you haven't had rice congee, then you don't know what you're missing, because it is absolutely delicious. But I do love Korean barbecue as much as the next person. So it's really good stuff, and it hits the heart, and it tastes absolutely delicious, especially when you pair it with Asahi Japanese super dry beer. Really, really good. So again, I want to wish everyone out there a happy Chinese New Year, or Lunar New Year, Year of the Ox. That's my year. A happy Valentine's Day for all your lovebirds out there and people who are getting divorces. And, of course, a happy President's Day, which is coming up on Monday. And I also want to give a big shout out to our guest furry of the week. And yes, I have to pull up on my phone because my name concedes me. Yes. Varric, that's right. Okay, we're gonna pick up. 3, 2, 1. Now, wasn't that food 3, 2, 1. Now, didn't that food look absolutely delicious? Yeah, I enjoy Korean barbecue as much as the next person. However, there are usually 2 other places I go to, but since it's COVID-19, things got kind of whacked around the bush a little bit. I usually go to Honey One or Honey Pig Barbecue in Germantown, but they were closed down due to COVID temporarily. The one in Rockville is only takeout and delivery only. There's a place called Hot Pot Hero, but it's takeout and delivery only in that area. And of course, there's a Hong Kong place. But, you know, my dad decided, let's do Korean barbecue. So we did Korean barbecue. We had to go all the way to Ellicott City for the lovely goodness. And I absolutely love it because who doesn't love Korean barbecue, especially when paired with some Asahi, Japanese super dry beer. That stuff is absolutely delicious. I love it, folks. I absolutely love it. So again, I want to wish everyone out there a happy Lunar New Year's. It is the year of the ox. I also want to wish everyone out there a happy Valentine's Day for all your lovebirds, your single people out there. All you pretty ladies, put a ring on it. And the people who are looking to get divorced. I didn't say it. And of course, a happy President's Day, which is coming up on Monday. Yay, President's Day. But I also want to give a big thank you to my guest of the week, Varric, the Pink Bunny. Yes, big, tall bunny. Thank you for being on my show. We'll definitely have you back. And I also want to thank all of my fans who have been with me since the show has first started. Now, my name is Rocky Red Panda, signing out for this week. I will catch you next week. You guys have a good week, and happy holidays. Till next time, folks, peace out. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe for more awesome videos from P&D Studios and This Week Live. Peace.